Good morning everyone. Welcome to this edition of Weekly Roundup. Myself Nilesh and I will be taking this session. Before we proceed today's session, I would like to wish you all Happy New Year. On that note, let's start today's session. In today's session, we will be discussing 5 main news, 1 personality in news and 7 quick updates. In main news, first news is about political funding in India. As Election Commission of India have released the report regarding the political funding recently. Second main news is about non-banking financial companies. As RBI have initiated a review of scale-based regulation for the NBFCs. Then third main news is about gig workers. As gig workers went on strike on the eve of New Year. Fourth main news is about the human capital for the Viksit Bharat. And fifth main news is about dynamic groundwater resource assessment report 2025, which has been released by the Ministry of Shakti. In personality in news, we will be covering Mahapurush Srimanta Shankar Devji. So without wasting any time, let's start the first main news. First main news is about concern over the political funding in India. In this news, we will be covering what are the various concerns regarding the political funding in India. Then we will see various mechanisms in place in India for the political funding. And then we will discuss way forward to streamline the political funding and alleviate the lacunas in it. So this topic is very important for GS paper 2, important aspect of governance, transparency and accountability, and GS paper 4, issues related to integrity and probity. So what is the background? So background is that the recent annual report on the contribution received by the electoral trust released by the Election Commission. So what are the electoral trust, we will see in the further discussion. And what the problem about it, it highlighted that incumbent parties received the larger share of the political funding, and that is concerning because when political party is in power and it is receiving large funding from the corporates, then it will have the unknown obligation to the corporates, and then they will form the policies for the corporates, and in that process the welfare of the people may be sidelined. So that is the concern and the background about the news. Now we will see what are the issues of the political funding in India. The first issue is lack of transparency and anonymity. So what is this issue? According to Association of Democratic Reforms, which is NGO which work for the democratic reforms in India, have said that between financial year 2004 and 5 till 2022-23, country's 6 national parties have collected around 19,000 crore rupees whose sources are unknown. And when sources are unknown, these funds may be from the black money, their sources are not unknown, and political party which are getting this funding in such large scale will have the policy implication because they will be serving the purpose of the donor who are unknown to the general public. So this is the first problem, that is lack of transparency and anonymity. Second issue is unequal playing field. So what is unequal playing field? Please understand that every candidate who is contesting election in India will have the limit which he can spend in any particular election. That limit in Lok Sabha election is 70 lakh for the larger state, and for the smaller state that limit is 54 lakh. But such limit is not there for the political parties, and political party can spend whatever money they want in particular election on any particular constituency. And if they are spending so much money, then the smaller parties who don't have such large amount of money cannot compete with the large political parties who have the infinite funds. So this is the second problem. What is the third problem? Third problem is corporate influence and cronyism. Before we discuss this point, let me give you interesting information. There is a book called as End of History. So this book, End of History and the Last Man, is written by the Francis Fukuyama, who is American thinker, and he argues that political democracy is the best political system who can serve the people. However, over the period of time, he have cautioned that there are some issues which can affect the effective democratic institution, and one of the such issue is crony capitalism. What is crony capitalism? When there is nexus between politicians and the corporates, then political parties work for the companies who are donating them the money, and the welfare of the people becomes secondary. This is the issue about the crony capitalism, and same was highlighted by the Supreme Court in the electoral bond, which was disbanded by the Supreme Court in 2024, where Supreme Court said that it is an institutionalized corruption, because the donors who gave the electoral bonds to the incumbent parties got the various contracts from the government. So these are the issues which are actually there in the political funding in the India. Now we will see what are the mechanisms who are driving the political funding in India. So there are various mechanisms in India which are driving the political funding. First, we will cover the legal provisions. The first legal provision related to it is Representation of People's Act 1951. So what it says? It says that any political party who want to get the electoral funding should be registered with the Election Commission of India. So this is the provision in this act. Then there is Income Tax Act 1961. If someone is giving the electoral funding, then that funding is exempted from the income tax. So this is the provision in this act. And there is Companies Act 2013. So what is Companies Act says? There is section 182, which says any company or corporation can give the political funding to the party, and in 2013 that limit was 7.5% of the profit earned by the company in last 3 consecutive years. This cap was removed in 2017 by the amendment. So there is no such cap right now, but there was some such cap. So these are some of the provisions for the political funding and its legal provisions. Then there is second provision, that is individual donations. So political parties can get individual donation. However, if that donation exceed 20,000 rupees, then party have to report that donation to the Election Commission of India. And if that donation is beyond 2,000 rupees, then that donation should be through the method which is traceable, such as check, demand draft, or the digital transaction. You cannot give the money beyond 2,000 rupees in the cash. But what about the money less than 2,000 rupees? So it can be given in cash. What about the money below 20,000 rupees? It is not mandatory to report the Election Commission. So these are the drawbacks even today. Then there is electoral trust. So what is the electoral trust? So electoral trust came from the electoral trust scheme of 2013. And what was the purpose of this scheme? So it was like a intermediary. So if you want to donate the money to the political party, or company want to donate the money to the political party, they will not donate it directly. So what will they do? They will transfer that money to electoral trust, and then electoral trust will transfer that money to the respective political party. That was for the transparency and accountability. Secondly, who can donate money to the electoral trust? So Indian citizen, company, and Hindu undivided family. So these entities can actually donate the money to the electoral trust. Then these electoral trusts are also registered as companies, and these are section 8 companies. What are Section 8 companies? These are non-for-profit companies which are there for the socio-economic welfare of the people. Then there is another important provision that the electoral trust cannot accept money in cash. So all the money accepted by the electoral trust are traceable and they keep that record. So this is all about the political funding mechanism in India. Now we will see what are the way forward to make it more transparent. So first way forward is promote the public funding. As we have discussed over here that the political funding is murkier and not transparent, then there is one solution that state it should give the money to the political parties to contest the election. In that case there will be no black money and there will be trace of the money and there will be limited money in the politics. So one of such recommendation was given by the Indrajit Gupta committee in 1998. Also same recommendation was given by the Law Commission in 1999. So the same recommendation was given by the Law Commission. Also same recommendation was given by the second ARC headed by the Virappa Mohili. Please remember second ARC is very important for the UPSC preparation, which have the very important recommendation for the administrative and political structure of India. You can write those in your answer and you can have the short note of 2-3 pages of the second ARC for your good answer writing. So this is the first recommendation. Second recommendation is establishing National Election Fund. So National Election Fund was recommended in around 1990s, and what it says that all the political donations should be come into the National Election Fund, which is managed by the central government or the any centralized body, and then that fund will be distributed between the political parties transparently and fair manner. So there will be a level playing field between the political parties. So this is about the National Election Fund. Then there will be third, that limit on campaigning expenditure. As we already discussed, there should be limit on the political parties spending in particular election or in particular constituency. In that manner, there will be less money in the political system and less corruption or the black money. So these are the way forward. In this regard, the Canada have adopted the best measures and have seen better effect. India can adopt such measure. So this is all about the political funding and arguments around it. Now we will see question related to it asked by the UPSC in previous year. The first question is that to enhance the quality of democracy in India, Election Commission of India has proposed the electoral reforms in 2016. What are the suggested reforms and how far they are significant to make the democracy successful? So this was the question around the 2016 regarding the reforms taken by the government back then. The same question can be asked today and you can write the answer which we discuss in the article. So this is about this question. Then there is a second question. This question is about statement. The first statement is Election Commission of India is an 5-member body. So this statement is wrong. Article 324 says there will be Chief Election Commission and other election commissioner. There is no specific number mentioned. Right now there is one Chief Election Commissioner and 2 election commissioner, but this is not a permanent structure. It can be changed and it is not mentioned in the constitution. So first statement is wrong. Second statement that Union Ministry of Home decide the election schedule. So this statement is also wrong. It is decided by the Election Commission. So this is also a wrong statement. Third statement is that Election Commission resolves the dispute relating to splits, merger, recognized parties. Now you may be aware of the thing that Shiv Sena and NCP had the split and the Election Commission gave its verdict. Then it was challenged in the Supreme Court. But which means that Supreme Court actually try to resolve these issues. The third statement is correct. Therefore, the answer is D only. So this is all about the previous year question. Now we will start the second main news. Second main news is RBI have initiated the review of scale-based regulation for the NBFCs. And what is the scale-based regulation? It was the regulation by the RBI on NBFCs which was implemented from the 2022. So in this news, we will see what are the non-banking financial companies are and what is this scaled-based regulation is. This is very important for the GS paper 3, which is Indian economy and issues related to growth, development and mobilization of resources. Let's start the news. So what is the background? So background is that the RBI have initiated the review of the non-banking financial companies. And why it is important? Because they are playing growing role in lending. So right now they are lending around 15% of the GDP. And they are interconnected with the banks. So many NBFCs are promoted by some of the banks. And when NBFC is under stress, like non-performing assets and other such issues, then that bank may be also stressed, and that may be having the cascading effect on the economy. In that turn, economy may have the consequences. To avoid those things, so RBI is trying to have the more effective control over the non-banking financial companies. That is the one aspect, right? Now we will see what are the NBFCs are. So what is the NBFC? So NBFC is the company, as the name suggests, which is registered under the Companies Act of 1956 or the Companies Act of 2013. So Companies Act of 1956 was amended with the Companies Act of 2013. So company which was established before 2013 was according to this act, and after 2013 are according to these acts, right? Then what are the NBFC's role? So NBFCs are engaged primarily in lending, then investment in securities, then leasing on high purchase activities. But NBFCs cannot engage in agriculture, industrial activities and selling of goods except the securities. So NBFCs can actually sell the securities, but no other goods. So these cannot be their primary functions. Other than these can be done by the NBFCs as their primary function. So this is the main purpose of the NBFCs. Now please remember, these facts are very important because UPSC have once asked the difference between small financial banks and their comparison with the other banks. So this question can be asked between the difference between the NBFC and the other banks. So what is the difference? First difference is that NBFC cannot accept the demand deposit. So there are two deposits, demand deposit and time deposit. What are the demand deposit? Demand deposit is the deposit which is very flexible. You can put it in the bank and withdraw at your own choice. However, time deposit is the deposit which you park in the bank for some particular time. So you cannot open the account or have the demand deposit in the NBFC, but you can have it in the bank. Time deposit you can have in the NBFC. So this is the one difference. Second difference is that NBFCs do not form the part of the payment and settlement system. So RTGS or the Bhim UPI and all those systems are the part of the payment and settlement system. NBFCs cannot be part of that, and they also cannot issue checks. So please remember this fact also. Then third, that their deposit is not covered by the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. So what happens when you park your money in the bank, then if your money is beyond the 5 lakh rupees or less than 5 lakh rupees, it is insured by the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. But if your money is bigger than the 5 lakh rupees, then you can only get up to 5 lakh rupees. So that much about the money is insured by this organization. But this is not provided in the case of NBFC. If your money is in NBFC and that goes bankrupt, you will not get even 5 lakh rupees also. So this is all about the NBFC. Now we will see about the scheme. So what is the scale-based regulation? As we discussed, it was implemented by RBI in 2022 for the better regulation of NBFCs. And they have the various layers, and according to their layers, RBI keep monitoring these NBFCs. The first layer is base layer, where this consists of the non-deposit taking NBFCs whose asset is below than 1000 crore rupees, and those are not that much scrutinized because they are relatively safer, and they have 5.2 share of the total NBFC assets. Then there is second, that is middle layer NBFCs, and this is actually the largest asset share of the NBFC in this class. And which are the NBFCs are covered in this class? All deposit taking NBFCs are covered, and those which are not taking deposit, those NBFCs whose assets are more than 1000 crore rupees are covered in this, and 64.6% assets are covered in this category. Then there is third category, that is upper layer, and it comprises NBFCs which are warranting enhanced regulatory monitoring. So these NBFCs are larger, and there are chances that there may be some irregularity, and therefore oversight is needed, and such NBFCs are around 30% in the economy. And the last layer is top layer, where utmost precaution is taken and the oversight is required, and ideally this bracket is empty, because in that case there will be large discrepancy and problems with that NBFC. So this bracket is generally empty. This is all about NBFCs and this scale based regulation. Now we will solve the question regarding the article. So please carefully see this question. In India, non-banking financial companies can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of the RBI. So what is liquidity adjustment facility? So when banks do the transaction day to day, they will have some deficit because their money may be in some other bank and it is not transferred. So there will be short-term liquidity crunch, and to address that, they will borrow money from the RBI. Because NBFC do not accept the demand deposit, such constraint is not there with the NBFC. So first statement is not right. They do not have the access to the liquidity adjustment facility. First. Then in India, foreign institutional investment can hold the government securities. The purpose of the government security is to get money to the government. So government will want that large amount and large section of people actually get the government bonds and securities. So they will allow it to the large people. So even foreign institutional investors are allowed to get the government securities. So second statement is correct. Then third statement is stock exchanges in India can offer separate trading platforms for the debt. So debt instrument can be traded in the stock exchanges. So this statement is also correct. So what is the correct answer? D is the correct answer, 2 and 3. So this is it. Now see this question. This question is about with reference to the NBFC in India, consider the following statement. First statement is that they cannot engage in the acquisition of the securities issued by the government. Now we had discussed that government want large amount of sections to have the government securities. Obviously, government will allow this to have the access to the government securities. The first statement is wrong. Second statement is that they cannot accept the demand deposit. We have already discussed that they cannot accept the demand deposit. Second statement is correct, and the answer is B. So the answer is B. This is all about the second main news. Now we will see the third main news. Third main news of the day is human capital for the Viksit Bharat. In this news, we will see what is human capital is, what are the significance of the human capital, what are the challenges in the human capital formation in India, and what are the way forward. This topic is very important for the GS paper 1 related to population and the associated issues, and GS paper 2 issues related to development management of the social sector relating to health, education and human resources. So what is the background? The background is that Chief Secretary's conference was held recently, and that conference, it was said that the human capital for the Viksit Bharat should be focused. This is the development, and now we will see what is the human capital. So human capital is the stock of knowledge, skills and the other characteristic embodied by the person, and which help them to be productive and the effective. So this is about the definition. So when you will have the human capital, the population will be educated, healthy, and they contribute largely to the economy. So this is about the human capital. There are other capitals which are important for the economy. And what are those capitals? First is financial, then natural, social, intellectual, and human capital. So these are some of the capitals which are also important for the economic development. What is the financial capital? As we all know, money, debt, all those instruments which give the finance to the economy are the financial capital. Secondly, there are natural capitals. So what are the natural capitals? Natural resources such as minerals, coals, petroleum, all those things which are important for the economic development of the country are categorized in the natural capital. Then there is a social capital. What is the social capital? Social capital is the harmony between the society. There is no tension, there is harmony, understanding between various stratas of the society, various sections, religions, caste. So this is about the social capital. And then when there is a social capital, there will be harmony and the lack of law and order issue. So social capital is also very important. Please remember, there have been questions asked regarding this. So these are the important things. Then there is a intellectual capital. What is intellectual capital? So intellectual capital is the capital where people are engaged in R&D, research, new development. All these intellectual things are coming in the intellectual capital. Capital is also categorized in the two categories. One is tangible and second is intangible. What is tangible? Tangible are the physical things which can be touched, and intangible which are not physical. So you might have heard about the tangible and intangible cultural heritages. Same is applicable to the capital. So human capital you cannot touch, skills or the knowledge you cannot touch. So these are the intangible capital. Please remember this fact, which is very important for your examination. Now we will see what is the significance of the human capital. So what is the significance of the human capital for the economy? The first significance is harness the demographic dividend. What is the demographic dividend? Demographic dividend is when your working age population in the overall population is larger, then that population can help to economy to grow by the various means. That is the demographic dividend. Right now we have 60% population which is working age population. And what is working age population? Population between 15 to 59 years is called as the working age population. And we right now have the demographic dividend, which will increase more by the 2030. It will be 68.9% by the 2030. And to get all the benefits of this thing, we need to have the human capital. That means population which have the skills, education and good health. That is the one point. Second point is correlation with the economic growth. So how human capital formation can have the relation with the economic growth? Please see this diagram. You can draw this diagram in your answer also. So this is the baby, which is healthy baby. Healthy baby will have the good grasping capacity and brain development, which will have the better education. It will lead to the workforce and it will lead to the economic development, and which will lead to the better healthcare facility, education, and this is the virtuous cycle. So this is the virtuous cycle. So if you have the human capital, then you will have the good economic development and vice versa. So it is very important to have good human capital to have the economic development. This is the second point. What is the third point? Innovation economy. So when you have the human capital, people can understand the economy. So economic adaptation such as UPI, BHIM or other technological innovations such as AI can be adopted by the population very easily and the economy can be boosted. Secondly, there will be having the research, entrepreneurship, startups. So all these things will happen when the people have the capacity, skills and the education. So these are the significance of the human capital for the economic development. Now we will see what are the challenges and problems in having the human capital in India. So what are the key challenges in developing the human capital in India? The first is poor foundational literacy. So India have the less literacy and numeracy. According to PARC 2024, the 46% proficiency in mathematics in the class of 5. So what is the PARC? PARC is the initiative by the Ministry of Education, implemented by the NCERT, and they see the overall performance of the schools and the students, and they see that the 46% of the proficiency in mathematics at the class 5. So this is the problem, that our students are not at par in the numeracy or even reading and writing basic literacy. Then there is high dropout rate. Almost 10% children drop at the secondary level, and girls are the larger share. Why? One of the issue is that we don't have the adequate infrastructure and sanitization in the schools. That is the one issue. Secondly, in many parts of India, there is child marriages, and that is why large amount of girls are drop out from the schools. Then thirdly, there is low expected year of schooling. At global level, this average schooling is 18 years. In India, the same is only 13.3. So we need to work upon this. Human Development Index, which is released by UN, we are at the 130th out of 193 countries, and that is because our education is lacking, our healthcare system is lacking. All these problems are leading to the less human development in India, and that is affecting our economic growth. So to have the better economic growth, we need to have the better human capital formation. Now we will see what are the way forwards and what are the steps can be taken to enhance the human capital. The first step can be strengthening the foundation learning. So there are expansion of Nipun Bharat, Bal Vatikas, early childhood education, and for the tribal children we have the Eklavya model schools. So such initiative can be enhanced and given the priority over the other sectors. National education policy says that we need to invest 6% of the GDP in the education. So this is also very important. We are not at par spending in education. So we need to enhance our capacity and GDP expenditure on the education. That is the first. Second thing is skill integration and employability. So as national education policy says that we should promote the vocational education and initiatives such as Atal Tinkering Labs. But there is also one of the problem, that is we should implement these policies very carefully and effectively. As recently you might have heard and read that CAG have released the report about Pradhan Mantri Kaushalya Vikas Yojana. And what are the findings? 95% of the beneficiaries have the fake email ID, even photos or the phone numbers. So these are the fake beneficiaries. Only 40%, around 40%, those who got the skill education got actually placed. So the placement is very low. So we have to implement these schemes very effectively. Even though government says that 1.6 crore people were given skills, but if there are discrepancies as large as this, then the effectiveness of these schemes is doubtful. Then thirdly, focus on the health and nutrition. So such as PM Poshan and other schemes such as ICDS and all those can be promoted. Folic acid tablets can be given to the girls who have the iron deficiency. All these steps can be taken to have the better human capital in the economy. This is all about the human capital formation in India. Now we will see related question about it. The first question is that consider the following statement. Human capital formation as a concept is better explained in the terms of process which enables the first individual of the country to accumulate more capital. Here it is saying that tangible capital such as building or the land, all that capital. So it is not true. Second, increasing the knowledge, skill and the capacities. As we have already discussed, this statement is correct. Then third statement is accumulation of tangible wealth. As we have already discussed, tangible wealth does not form the human capital. So third statement is wrong. And fourth statement is accumulation of intangible wealth. So skills, education are the intangible wealth, and we have already discussed it. This is the correct statement. So statement 1 and 4 are the correct statement. Sorry, statement 2 and 4 are the correct statement. So C is the correct answer. Then there is this question. Despite consistent experience of the high growth in India, we have the lower indicators in the human development. Examine the issues that makes the balance and the inclusive development elusive. So the issues we discuss and the solution we discuss, way forward we discuss, can be given in this answer, and which will you can write the good answer. Please try to write that. So this is all about this news. Let's discuss next news, that is gig workers organize nationwide strike on the eve of New Year. And this is important. In this we will be discussing what is gig economy, what are the concerns of it, and what are the solutions to tackle these issues, what are the initiatives taken by the government. So this is all about this news. This is very important for the GS paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues relating to employment, and GS paper 4, that is empathy, compassion towards the weaker section. So let's start discussion of this news. The background is that delivery partners of the digital platforms such as Swiggy, Zomato went on strike on the New Year's Eve for calling the ban of 10 minutes delivery, because this is very inhuman and actually risk their life. So this is the development. Now we will see what is the gig economy. So as per the Code of Social Security 2020, it means that person who performs the work or participate in work arrangement and earns from the such activities outside the traditional employer-employee relationship. So there is no traditional employee-employer relationship, and you hire those people for the particular job, and then they do that work and you pay them. So it is not regular employment, you hire them according to your need. So this is about the gig economy. It is classified into two categories. What are those two categories? First is platform-based workers. So basically these are the digital platforms, and you book these workers or these services on those platforms, such as delivery workers of the Zomato, and then they deliver you that particular item. This is the platform workers. Second is non-platform based workers, such as you hire plumber or you hire electrician, which is known to you, you call them. So these are not platform workers. You know them personally, but they do your work. Those are also gig workers, but those are not platform workers, and those are the casual wage workers, conventional sectors such as domestic workers and other examples I have given to you. So what is the scale of the gig economy in India? Right now there are around 10 million gig workers working in various sectors, and it is expected that this number will be around 23.5 million by 2030. So this is sun rising sector which is rising exponentially, and there will be a large chunk of workers working in this field. So there should be better regulation and the welfare measures in place to protect their rights. So this is one issue. Then what is the driver of growth? So there are two set of drivers. One is demand side and second is supply side. So we have become sedentary. We don't want to go to the shops, so we order online. Secondly, there is quick commerce companies, and they are giving us large discount. That is also one of the issue, because the gig workers are increasing. Secondly, what is the supply side? So there is flexible working modes and attractive remuneration. Please understand, if a student don't have money, he can also do the side work for 2-3 hours and earn money. Then there is attractive remuneration. Understand, if you are 10 or 12 pass and you are getting 10-15,000 rupees, that is good remuneration according to some of the workers. So these are the issues. That is why the gig economy is booming in India and tend to boom. Now we will see what are the issues related to it. So what are the challenges of the gig economy? First challenge is that income volatility. So their income is not fixed. They are declining per order, and base pay related to reduce income stability. So when this quick commerce are offering you free delivery, they are also not paying their delivery partners good. So that is one issue, and that is not fixed. At some delivery they may get good amount, at some delivery they may not get. So it is not even transparent. So that is one of the issues. Second issue is that occupational hazard. When you are obliged to deliver in 10 minutes, then there will be a great risk of physical damage, as there might be issue because they get harm in the process, because there will be traffic, there will be a lot of issues, but still they have to deliver in the 10 minutes, and if they don't deliver, they will or they may face the punishment. So that is also one issue. Then there is social vulnerability. So there is lack of health insurance to them and accident cover or even pension, because their occupation is not permanent. They are not getting all such benefits which are which are given to other permanent workers. So this is also one issue. Then there is coverage gaps. So existing social security proposals. So what they say is that if a worker is working for 90 days, then they are entitled to have the social security. And what if they are not working for the 90 days? If he is working for the 70 days, he is not entitled to social security. So there is very large and restrictive provision of the social security. Then last is algorithmic management. So because algorithm decide that what is deep platforming or limited collective bargaining. So what is delisting? If some particular gig worker have the negative reviews, he might be delisted from the platform and his job can be taken at any instant, and that is decided by the algorithm. Also there is no collective bargaining because all the people are working separately and they don't have the collective bargaining for their social welfare. So these are the all of the issues are faced by the gig workers. Now we will see what are the steps taken or what are the steps can be taken in this direction. So what are the steps taken? First step is Code of Social Security 2020. So the code gives the formal safety net, and as we discussed, the 90-day criteria which is there and it is criticized is there, and if the person have shifted the job, the 120 days across the multiple platform is the criteria to eligible for the social security benefits. And there will be benefits such as e-Shram portal and Ayushman Bharat scheme. So this is the one social security given to the workers. Then there is Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. So it is given to all eligible registered unorganized workers, including gig workers, and the insurance cover of 2 lakh rupees is given for the accident. You might know the premium of this scheme is 20 rupees, and eligibility age is 19 to 70 years. So please remember that this can be asked. So this is about the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Then there are legal incentives by the state governments. What are such legal incentives? One of the such legal incentive is the Rajasthan Platform Based Gig Worker Act 2023. So Rajasthan have enacted the act for the welfare and the betterment of the these gig workers. So this is about the gig workers. Now we will see the related question about it. The first question is, examine the role of gig economy in the process of empowerment of women in India. So how women can be empowered by the gig economy? Firstly, they will have the flexible work hours. They can have the liberty when to go to work and when not to go to work, and they will be having the better pay scale. So these are some of the points you can write in this answer. Then there is second question. The question is, with reference to the casual workers employed in India, consider the following statement. The first statement is, all casual workers are entitled for the employee provident fund coverage. So please remember, not all workers are entitled. According to the law, establishment having 20 or more workers will have to register under the Employee Provident Fund Act. So first statement is wrong. Though Supreme Court in its judgment have said that this provision is applicable to all the workers, but according to the law, the cap is 20 or more workers. So first statement for that reason is wrong. Second statement is that all casual workers are entitled for the regular working hours and overtime payment. So According to the Minimum Wages Act, this statement is correct. Then there is third statement, government can by notification specify that the establishment or industry shall pay the wages only through the bank. So this statement is also correct. Method of Payment Act 2017 specifies this. So statement 2 and statement 3 is correct, but statement 1 is not correct. That is why the answer is B, 2 and 3. So this is all about the gig workers and gig economy. Now we will start the discussion of the fifth main news. So now we will cover the fifth and last main news, that is Dynamic Groundwater Resource Assessment Report 2025. It has been released by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. In this, we will be discussing what are the main findings of the report, what are the categorization of units given in this report, and about the groundwater in brief. This is very important for your GS paper 2, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. So what is the background? So the assessment was carried out jointly by the Central Groundwater Board and the states and UTs. The water is monitored by the three organizations. First is Central Groundwater Board, then Central Water Commission, and then Central Pollution Control Board. So Central Water Commission actually oversees the water quality and related issues and suggests the various methods, and Central Pollution Control Board is established by the Water Act of 1974 to monitor the pollution of the water. So these are the bodies which oversee the water in India. Now about groundwater, there are some interesting facts. One is India is the largest user of the groundwater. So that is one fact. Secondly, about 87% of the groundwater is used in the agriculture, and around 11% of the groundwater is used in the domestic work, domestically. So these are the facts. So large chunk of the water, around 87% is used in the agriculture, as India is the agricultural economy, but it is largely dependent on the groundwater, and the availability of the groundwater if lowers, then agricultural productivity may be affected. So this is one of the fact. Now what is the groundwater? When water goes through permeable rocks and saturate at underground, this is called as saturated soil. And when we dig well or bore well, we can extract water from here. So this is the groundwater, and the quality and quantity of that groundwater is assessed through the report which is just published. Now we will see the key heading and the what are the key highlight of the report. So now we will see what are the key highlights of the reports. The first key highlight is annual groundwater recharge. So annual groundwater recharge have increased marginally to 448 billion cubic meter from the 446.9 billion cubic meter in 2024. So this is the marginal increase, and extractable groundwater is also increased marginally, right? First it was 406 billion cubic meter in 2024, and now it is 407.75 billion cubic meter. So marginally we can now extract more groundwater. So this is the one of the fact. And what is the actual groundwater extracted? So in year 2025 it has been 247.2 billion cubic meter. So what is the groundwater extraction? It is around 60.6% annually. So we are actually extracting groundwater which is 60.6 of the total capacity of the groundwater in India. So this is about the key highlights of the report. Now we will see the categorization of the assessment unit in the report. The first term is overexploited. So what is overexploited? So overexploited is the groundwater extraction exceeding the annual replenishable limit, that is 100%. When groundwater is extracted more than 100%, then it is called as overexploited. Then semi-critical. When groundwater is extracted between 70 to 90% annual recharge, so that is called as semi-critical. Then there is critical. So what is critical? Critical is between 90 to 100% extractable limit. When the extraction is about 90 to 100%, that is critical. And what is safe? Less than 70% extraction is considered as the safe. So this is about the categorization. Please remember this. Now we will see what are the conditions in the India related to extraction. So now we will see what are the categories. Out of the total 6,746 assessment units in country, 73.4 assessment units are safe. And what is safe? So water extracted is less than 70% is considered safe, as we already discussed. Then 10.5% are considered as semi-critical. And what is semi-critical? 70 to 90% extraction, right? So these are the semi-critical. Then around 3% assessment units has been categorized as the critical. And what is critical? So critical is around 90 to 100% extraction of the recharge rate, and around 11% are assessed to be over exploited, which means they are being exploited than their capacity to recharge. So which are those areas which are being over exploited? So please see carefully. Northwest, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, West UP, West, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and in South, Karnataka, Tamil, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh. Can you see the pattern? All these areas have been also the part of Green Revolution, which means the areas which had the Green Revolution are relying on the problem of over exploitation of the water, because they are producing wheat and rice which are water intensive, and those areas don't have the sufficient water resources. So they are relying on the groundwater, and the problem is that over exploitation of the groundwater. Now see this fact. 1.8% assessment units also have been categorized as saline, because groundwater may also contain minerals, and when these minerals come on the ground, they will make the land saline. So this is also one of the problem of the over exploitation and overuse of the water. Another drawback is that we are the net exporter of the water. What is the net exporter? Because we are using large amount of water to produce the crops, and we are exporting those crops to the other countries. So in a way, we are using a large amount of water to grow that crop, and then we are exporting that food grains to the other countries. In a way, we are exporting the huge important resource, that is water, to the another countries. So this is called as net exporter of the water. So this is all about the report. Now we will see the question related to it. The first question is, on the planet Earth, most of the freshwater exists as the ice caps and glaciers. Out of the remaining freshwater, the large portion is found in the atmosphere and the moisture of the clouds, found in the freshwater lakes and the rivers, exist as the groundwater, exist as the soil moisture. So please remember, the ice caps and glaciers contain around 68% of the total freshwater. Then the largest water after that is contained by the groundwater, that is 30%. And freshwater lakes and rivers contain only 0.3%. So please remember this fact, that ice caps and glacier have the largest share, 68%, then groundwater 30%, and then rivers and freshwaters 0.3%. So this is, and also one of the factors, 99% of the water is not usable for the human being. Only 1% of water is usable by the human being, and that is also 68% is stored in the glaciers and the ice caps. So please remember this fact. So the correct answer is 3, exist in the groundwater. Now see this question. Suggest the measures to improve the water storage and irrigation systems to make the judicious use under the limiting scenario. So there is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, then there is Green Revolution 2.0. All these initiatives and other initiatives taken by Government of India, such as Jaivik Kheti, natural farming, all these initiatives can be written here, and you can suggest other technologies such as drip irrigation, sprinkler. So such initiatives can be written in this answer, and you can give the answer to this question. This is all about main news. Now we will cover the personality in news, and that is Mahapurush Srimanta Shankar Devji. So Shankar Devji was the great prominent Bhakti saint from the Northeast India, Assam. And why he is in news? So his birthplace has been renovated and inaugurated for the public. So let's see the important facts about the Mahapurush Srimanta Bhagwan Shankar Devji. The first thing is that he was born in Ali Purukhi, situated in Nagaon district of Assam. So he was born in Assam, and he was saint, scholar, polymath, and social religious reformer. What does the polymath mean? Polymath is scholar in various fields. So he was scholar in various fields. He was writer, he was drama writer, and he was also a social reformer. So that is one issue. Then he pioneered the new form of New Vaishnavism, that is called as Eka Sarana Hari Nama Dharma, which means there is only one devotion, and that is taking the name of Hari, and Hari means the Lord Krishna. So he propagated the monastic faith, which was centered around the Bhagwan Krishna. Please remember this. Then he established monastic institutions like Namghars and Satraj. So Namghars were the institution where people used to assemble and used to take the name of the god, and the Satras were monasteries where kirtans and all related activities used to happen. So this was that. Then social reforms. So he was against the anti-caste, and he was against the caste and for the women rights. So he took various initiative to eradicate the caste and the upliftment of the women. So this was his social activities. Then he was prolific. He was good writer, prolific writer, dramatist, and composer. And his works is Kirtana Ghosha, which composes of the devotional verses, and Bhakti Pradeepa, which have the stories and the incidents of the Lord Krishna. Then he was known for initiating the Bor Gitas. So what are Borgitas? Those are the songs surrounding the Lord Krishna. And Satriya classical dance. So Satriya classical dance was actually used to get performed in the Ankiya Nat, which was the drama which was performed in the Namgharas and Satras. So please remember that. One of the important fact is that there are 8 classical dance in India. And what are the other classical dance? Mohiniyattam, Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathak, Kathakali, Odissi, and Manipuri. So these are the other classical dances along with the Satriya. So this is all about the Mahapurush Srimanta Shankar Devji. Now we will see the quick updates of the day. The first quick update is UN Convention Against the Corruption. And what is the background? So 11th Conference of State Parties to the UN Convention of Corruption was held in Doha and adopted the Doha Declaration 2025. So what are the salient features of the Doha Declaration? So this declaration calls on parties to leverage digital technologies including AI to strengthen the international cooperation to tackle the cross-border corruption. This is the one point. Secondly, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime acts as the secretariat to the conference. So these are the 2 points. Now we will see UN Convention Against the Corruption. So please remember the fact that this is only binding convention, legally binding convention against the corruption in the world. Then it is adopted in 2003 by the UN General Assembly and came into force in the 2005. And what is the objective? To tackle the cross-border corruption and the channels of the corruption in the various countries. So this is all about the UN Convention Against the Corruption. Now we will see the next quick update. Now we will see the second quick update, that is magnetic levitation or maglev technology. And what is the development? So China have set the world record with the high speed maglev train achieving 700 km per hour in 2 seconds. Now we will see what is magnetic levitation is. So what is magnetic levitation? The principle is uses electromagnetic forces to levitate the vehicle above the track, eliminating the wheel rail contact. So see, this is the rail track and this is the train. So this track will have the north pole supposedly, and this rail will also have the north pole. So what will happen? The identical poles repel each other. So they will repel each other, and because they repel each other, there will be a gap between these two. So it in a way will be in air, that means it will levitate. So there will be less friction between the two. And then how it will propulsion? So it is propelled by the using the electromagnetic forces only. See, so this is the train and it will have the north and south poles, and this is the track, and track will have the north south fluctuating. So what will happen? This north pole will be attracted by the south pole and this north pole will repel the north pole. So it will move forward. So this is the propulsion mechanism of the levitation. Got it? Then what are the advantages? First advantage is energy efficiency. Because there is no friction, there will be less energy to propagate. So that is the first thing, and there will be less energy losses because of the less maintenance need. So this is the first advantage. Then second advantage is smooth and silent operation. So there is one concept in the automobile industry, that is NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. Because there is no connection or the friction, there will be less noise, less vibration, and no harshness in the passengers. So passenger feel very comfortable. So these are the advantages of magnetic levitation. This, I hope it is clear to you. This is all about the magnetic levitation. Let's move to the next quick update. The next quick update is Pragati. And what is the development? Prime Minister have called to replicate the center's Pragati, which means proactive governance and timely implementation platforms to the states. So Prime Minister have proposed that states should also implement the Pragati for the better implementation and effective governance. So what is Pragati? Pragati is proactive governance and timely implementation initiative, and it was started in 2015. So this initiative is all about to having the better coordination between the various departments and ministries and streamline the project and avoid the cost and time overrun. And these have the 3-tier mechanism. At state level, chief secretaries will see. At various ministries, those ministries and union secretaries will see the development, and there will be PMO directly monitoring all these developments, and they will keep track on that. They will have the meetings and they keep the updates of the various projects. So this is about it. Then what is the objective? As we already discussed, the first objective is to expedite the project implementation, to make it fast and efficient manner, and to reduce the bottlenecks. That is the first thing. Then second, collaborative approach. So in this process, what they do, they collaborate between different ministries, different departments, and try to resolve the various issues and the constraint in implementing the project effectively. In that process, they use the technology also. So they use the collaborative approach in various agencies and ministries at various level. So this is the second objective. Thirdly, it promotes the e-transparency and e-accountability. Because it is all in public domain, people can see in real time what are the progress in the various projects. And in a way, it help in accountability and transparency in the governance, reducing the corruption. So this is all about the Pragati. Now we'll see the next quick update. So next quick update is about Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. And what is the context? So the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana have completed 9 years. Now we will see what is the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. So this scheme was launched in 2017, and it is an conditional cash transfer. So if some conditions are fulfilled, then only cash is transferred. So this is the conditional cash transfer scheme for the pregnant and lactating mothers. Means before the pregnancy and after the pregnancy, the money is given to the mothers. In 2022, the scheme was incorporated in the Mission Shakti. And what is Mission Shakti? So it is an umbrella scheme for the safety, security and empowerment of the woman. So all the women related schemes were clubbed under the Mission Shakti, and it is now the part of the Mission Shakti. The ministry is Ministry of the Women and Child Development. So Ministry of Women and Child Development implement this scheme, and this is centrally sponsored scheme. What is centrally sponsored scheme? Centrally sponsored scheme means that central will give some share and state will also share some shares. So it is not exclusively by the center, but it will be having the contribution of the center and the states both. So this is the centrally sponsored scheme. And what are the benefits and beneficiaries? Let's see the beneficiaries. All the women at least of the age 19 and above in the informal sector are qualified for the Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. What are the benefits? So conditional maternity benefits of the 5,000 rupees are given. So that is given in the 3 tranches. 1K, 2,000 and 2,000. The first 1,000 rupees are given when mother, the news of the mother getting pregnant is there. Then up 2000 rupees is given when prenatal checkup happened after 6 months, and 2000 rupees are given after post pregnancy when a child is given the sum of the vaccination. So this is the three tranche transaction of the scheme. Also, if the institutional delivery is happened under the Janani Suraksha Yojana, so there will be additional funds will be provided to the mother, and overall that mother will get the 6,000 rupees. Also, please remember that if the second child is a girl, then under Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana 2.0, incentive of 6,000 rupees is given in the single installation in the birth of the second girl child's case. So this is all about the Matru Vandana Yojana. I hope it is clear to you. Now move to the next quick update. So next quick update is carbon border adjustment mechanism. And what is it? So it is the tax imposed by the European Union from the 1st January 2026 on the goods which uses the high carbon emission in its production. So this is the context of the news. Now we will see what is the carbon border adjustment mechanism. As we already discussed, it is implemented by the EU, European Union, and it is a carbon tax. It is world's first carbon tax. So please remember this fact also. It is very important. The question can be asked regarding this because this is the innovative mechanism in the world. So it is important to tackle the climate change and related issues. So CBMA is implemented from 2023 in the phase manner, but now it will be implemented in full-fledged from the 1st January 2026. What is the objective of the mechanism? To prevent the carbon leakage by the stopping the from shifting the productive technologies which uses the less carbon emitting technologies for the production of the goods. What are the sector covers? So cement, aluminium, then fertilizer, iron, steel, and large amount of sectors are covered. And India is specially concerned about it because India export large amount of these goods to the European Union. And because of this tax, Indian goods will be costlier in these countries, and it may hamper the India's export potential in these countries regarding the steel or the other items such as aluminium and cement. So this is very important for India. India is negotiating about it, but there is no significant development regarding this. So please remember this. This is the important development. Now we'll see next quick update. So next quick update is land stack. So what is land stack? So land stack and grocery revenue terms was launched under the Digital India Land Record Modernization Program, DIL RMP. So this is basically an integrated GIS based digital platform for the land and property records. So as we know, in India, land is very fragmented and its registration happens in various departments. And sometimes it is the cause of the various cheating and frauds. So there is no uniform land record and the measurement. To tackle all these problems, the GIS based digital platform which actually records the land property, and it is inspired by the global best practices from the Singapore, UK and the Finland. So what are the key features? So first is the single window access to the land data across the department. So there will be a single window access, and there will be uniformity between the land ownership and the land related information in single source. Then that will be enabled from the informed decision making for the citizen. Then citizen will be having the informed decision making of purchase of land or all the land deeds and all the things. So that will be second important aspect. Then third aspect is enhances transparency convenience and the public trust. So that is also very important. Lastly, it reduces the risk related to unauthorized, non-compliant properties and the frauds, which actually generally happens in case of lands. And it improves the interdepartmental coordination related to land registration and property registration and exchange of titles and all those things. So this is all about the land stack. Let's cover the last quick update of the day, that is skilling for the AI readiness. And what is the context? So President of India have attended the program and given the skilling certificates to various participants. Now we will see what is the skilling of AI readiness. So it is the skilling initiative launched in 2025 recently under the Skill India mission. So please remember, this is the new initiative and question can be asked. So it is the part of the Skill India mission. Now, which is the ministry? The Ministry of Skill Development and the Entrepreneurship is actually implementing the initiative. Please remember this fact. And what is the objective of the initiative? The objective is to integrate AI competencies into India's educational and skilling ecosystem. And what is the target group? So there are two target groups. One is the students and second is the educator. The students from the class 6 to 12, class 6 to 12 will be covered, and the educators of the both public and private institution will be covered and the given the certificates regarding it. So it is all about the skilling for AI readiness. This is all about today's weekly roundup. For other current affair development, you can visit our digital current affair portal where you can solve various quizzes and read various current affair materials. Thank you. Have a nice day.